Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 198. 2 more Saturdays and we're gonna be hitting volume 200, which is amazing. I hope you had an incredible trading week. And as you know, in this video we're gonna jump into the markets, have a look what happened this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly what we can expect for the upcoming week. This week was amazing. We had a lot of volume, we had a lot of volatility, we had a lot of news, which also provided some amazing trading setups. I am personally having an incredible week in terms of results and profits. I'm gonna show you what I did mainly on US 30 and S&P 500. And of course, we're gonna cover all the markets, see what are the projections, and to keep it very simple and very straightforward, try not to make this video way too long. If you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and after 1 or 2 months, I'm gonna start posting very consistently educational videos because currently I'm settling in a new country and still haven't settled, and I still have some business to take care of in my old countries and graduation as well, my defense and all that stuff. So I'm a little bit all over the place, so really not having much time to put some quality educational videos, but still you have the 5 video series to go through. So of course, make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss when a new video comes out. And if you already did, let's get into the analysis. Alright, as always, we're gonna get started with the dollar, but before we jump onto the technicals, it's very important to have a look at the economic calendar as well. So for next week, we have a public bank holiday on Monday. Meeting minutes right there for the Aussie on Tuesday, CPI for the GBP on Wednesday as well. So retail sales, Mr. Powell speaking, testifying, Swiss franc interest rates, Bank of England interest rates. So it looks like this week is pound week, CPI for the pound, interest rate for the pound, 2 Powell testimonies. So that is pretty good as well. And Friday doesn't have as much. So after the massive week last week, I do think this week is going to be volatile and potentially continue with that overall bias introduced from this week. So a key factor for this week is that the United States did not hike their rates on this meeting. However, they projected a couple of more rate hikes later. Okay, so pretty much when the rate is not hiked and when there were expectations for a potential hike, we can see the Dixie is right now plummeting, and I do expect for it to plummet until that new interest rate hike comes in. When it comes to Europe, there it is, right? So 25 basis points increase. We are at 4% right now, which is good. So again, very, very, very big confidence to be longing Euro USD because the United States withheld from hiking the rates. The Europe hiked them. So again, Euro USD went on rampage this week. So getting back to the technicals, well, once again, you know where we are in terms of the macro buys. We have been discussing in quite some time. We pulled back towards like that monthly push, this monthly pullback around 50%. The market came in, reacted, and then came in and took out that high, right? We thought at this moment it could be a break of structure, but you can see clearly we kind of failed to close above and we threw a massive pin bar. Then what the market did is it went on and actually broke this structure. So there is a little break. If I just take a thinner line, you can see that there is a break. Again, you can ask the question like, is this a liquidity gap? Is this a break, right? That is pretty much the main question you could be asking. And there are some ways to know, right? But you can see in this case, the market broke. It pulled back, tapped into that weekly supply zone that again took this liquidity, initiated a move down, tapped inside. We spent 2 weeks of overall kind of consolidation, and it is actually that week that we're offloading the shorts. So first things first, again, I will potentially, like, just based on structure, you can be expecting that low to go, which is a week low, right? Liquidity low, and for us to potentially continue going lower on the weekly time frame, because again, we have seen that the market failed to continue going higher. Could there be a bullish bias? Of course, anything could happen in the market, so don't exclude any bullish bias. But to me right now, the weekly time frame tells me shorts, so I'm going to be focusing on the shorts. Then of course, going on to the daily time frame, what I told you is that the daily was still bullish. We were chopping for quite some time right here within this area, and then of course we had that daily demand zone, and I told you, well, as long as we kind of hold from that daily demand zone, it's still a little bit 50-50. We had a little bit of a structural liquidity right there. I thought we could go and take, but no, the market came in, chopped around, came in again, created a market structure shift formation, and finally right now we are having a daily break. Let's just change it to D1, right? So that's a daily break, and you can see as we broke the day, the next candle is just offloaded massive bearish pressure. So where are we right now? Well, we are kind of in the middle. So if we just take like the weekly range, well, we just dipped below discount, and of course if we take the daily range, we are also in kind of discount. So again, where do we want to sell from? We want to sell from premium. So of course we want to see some sort of a pullback right now. If I have a look like at potential, okay, where could the market stop? Where is it seeking? Well, there is that low, which is structural liquidity, which is taken because again, guys, remember when the first demand zone fails, all of the demand zones on the left become liquidity. And there are people that could, for example, look to long from here. They got stop loss, right? And pretty much what I see right now is as I'm starting to train my ass to be spotting imbalance, there is that little imbalance right there that the market will potentially seek. So pretty much the question is, are we first going to come in to fill the imbalance, then give a reaction, right? Fill the imbalance into the highs and pull back and then potentially attack the lows? Or are we just going to pump lower and just continue dropping lower? Okay, so I wouldn't expect a very big pullback right now because it's just last week. And you can see it's just pretty much, yeah, I would say Wednesday, Thursday that the market really picked up that steam. And when that steam is picked, if we just say right now that everybody's short, that the institutions are short and everybody's short, the market is not gonna provide a lot of clear entries. Although this week on EU, it was just like, it was incredibly clear and incredibly easy to trade. So 4-hourly time frame, very simple. Of course, we always go back to the good old 4-hourly time frame. We have this lower high, we have this lower low. The market is pulling back towards the 50%. There is quite some imbalance right there, quite some empty space to fill. Is this whole thing gonna fill? Probably not. So again, what I would really love to see is for the week to open bullish, for us to have like a little bit of a pullback towards the 50%, and then from this area right there, you can just focus all in on shorts, go to the 15-minute, take shorts, first target the lower low and imbalance, and then of course from there we're gonna see how it's gonna go. And of course eventually we can expect that weekly low to go if the weekly bias is gonna sustain. So that's the Dixie. Bearish outlook, this is what we have right now. Of course, if we start and we push bearish, it becomes slightly different, but then of course we're still going to be following that 4-hourly bearish intention and following the new 4-hourly ranges. So that's Dixie. I am bearish biased. Those are the two scenarios that I could be expecting. Let me know, guys, if you're also bearish on the Dixie in the comments. Let's have a look at EU. So on the weekly time frame, once again, similar to the Dixie, we came in right there, we broke above, we have this weekly demand candle, the market came in, chopped for 2 weeks, and right now we are expanding. So once again, what makes sense for us to attack is of course that high. Again, I don't look on the left, because when you look on the left, you draw this, you take a short, you break it, you take a short, you break it, right? Those are just reaction areas, because if the weekly time frame is bullish right now, well, that is the current order flow, that is the current momentum, so don't go against it. Daily time frame, of course, as we said numerous times, on this way, on this push down right there, this was liquidity, that was liquidity, that one was the final liquidity, and this one was just the last final bit of imbalance below that liquidity. Everything was filled. We accumulated for a little bit, and you can see this week we just opened Monday, right, and then just boom, 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 right? The higher we got into the week, the bigger the momentum it is, right? And pretty much the targets I had projected first, it was that high, then of course second it was that high, then there was that little bit of imbalance right there that I didn't think we're gonna fill in this week, but yeah, we're right now, next target is right there, and pretty much the last target is gonna be that liquidity high. So if I just remove everything, there are my two new projections. No, that's not liquidity swept, it's still liquidity. So what could happen right now? Well, again, as you know, we are in a very nice push phase, right? You can draw your daily range from here, you can draw it from here, that depends on your rules, okay? I would personally draw it from right there, right, and look for a 50% tap. You can see the market is right now perfectly balanced, right? From here, there was a slight bit of imbalance right there. We came in, we balanced it out, and right now the only kind of imbalance is right there. So what I would expect for us to have is, once again, the textbook scenario for this week will be to have like a bearish day on Monday, and then all the rest of the week's bullish, attacking all the liquidity highs. So I'm pretty bullish on the euro, and you can see this week it's just been spot on, right? since we broke structure right there, and the valid higher low being this one there, it took a little bit of time to develop right there. But then again, higher high, we pull back. Where do we pull back? Towards imbalance, longs, broke structure above, pulls back, demand, longs again, higher high. Again, where does it pull back? Well, imbalance, pushes, right? Breaks, where does it pull back? Once again, imbalance, massive push. Okay, so you can see it's just been perfectly long. Exactly right now, we actually have a valid break up, and we technically have a valid breakdown according to my rules. So there is a supply going on right now. We didn't have this on the Dixie. Well, we don't have it in a valid way, but this one is valid right here. So I would really love to take some sort of a short and then just write it down. Okay, where is it gonna write down? Again, don't expect too much, because you can take like a zone like this and look for this one to tap. This is probably not gonna tap right now after this massive momentum. What I would expect is like this most recent, oh come on, what am I doing? I expect this most recent imbalance to be filled, right? Or for us to just tap in overall 50% of this leg right there. So if we manage to get some shorts, which I do believe are risky to be taking shorts immediately on market open, right? If we start getting some shorts, that's going to be good. Then the market is going to be potentially seeking to go somewhere. And as I said, well, potentially this whole area right here, that daily imbalance is pretty much that same hourly zone. This is where potentially I would expect the market to pull back and to start giving us longs from here. So again, waiting for Monday will be essential, and then of course going from Tuesday, looking for that long trade will be of huge importance. So let's see how it opens. Let's see what it does. I'm long biased on EU. Let's see how it works out. When it comes to my trades, I took one trade on EU this week, which was pretty nice, but I took actually two setups on this one. I traded it with another strategy and then this strategy as well. So technically, again, you can see we came into imbalance, that the bias for the day was long. So what we just simply do is waited for a trend change. What caused the trend change? It was this demand zone. We tapped in on the 1 minute, we provided an entry, and then my targets were just simply the intraday liquidity targets. I pretty much suspected these ones are gonna get taken, but again, let's not be realistic, right? Yeah, you could have made 10R, yeah, you could have made like 17R, and yes, you could have made 100R. Right, but again, let's just always go back and realistically say where our targets are. I personally, my last target was right here. If I just quickly jump on the 1 minute to show the setup, there it is. Very simple setup. We came in, smacked liquidity, right, and then technically, if you're just carefully watching, there was a break of structure down. There was a TC up on the retest. I entered, right. There is not really a retest on the break. And the more I trade, the more I grow, the more I run away from tight stop losses, the more I run away also from the 1 minute time frame. So what you can see I did in this case, I didn't do my stop loss like this, like 2 pips, which would have been huge, but I just simply did, I want to be safe. I placed my stop loss 4.4 pips below this low, and I was very secure into the trade. I took 30% partials right there, as you're going to see in my MT4 stats, and then I took my full position right there. I also had another setup, which I entered from exactly right here, which was with a bigger stop loss, and that was just another kind of strategy. This one offered me a little bit less risk to reward, but still it's fine, 2.5. And again, both of those trades were full risk. So why I did this is because again, I didn't think the market is gonna retrace and offer us a beautiful setup, and I didn't want to miss it. So just on this little pullback, I got a pretty good stop loss, like something around the 50% FIP towards the 60% FIP right there, entered with a bigger stop loss. And then of course I took a separate position on the 1 minute as well. Very good trade. Very, very, very nice trade. And then for the other days, I think, yeah, I didn't trade the other days. Yeah. Monday, there was a long trade right there, but it didn't really provide an entry. Right here, massive long pulls back. Then here it was dead hours. Tuesday, just bullish, but not clear. Wednesday was the only day I traded. Thursday was crazy, right? And Friday, pretty much madness. So that's EU for this week. Let's see how it goes, of course. Stay tuned for my Tuesday or Wednesday analysis. Let's see how it goes. Well, what we're going to be seeing across the JPY market is just a massive, huge weekly engulfing candle, We had on Friday, we had Bank of Japan press conference, interest rates, of course, and we can see that pretty much the yen is very bullish. And also because, for example, you can see right now Euro USD is massively bullish and the USD JPY is massively bullish right now. So all the yen pairs will just be pumping like crazy. Okay, so hopefully you guys are in. Massive push. I mean, look at this. Like just Monday bullish, boom, 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 boom. The more it goes, the more it expands. So again, guys, I mean, it's gonna be hard because I'm not gonna go all the way to 2008 and like try to look at some supply and demand levels or something like this. The market just massively broke up. The market has a very big demand zone right there. Daily time frame just keeps pumping. Okay, so nothing much to analyze on the daily, and 4-hourly time frame just keeps pumping. Okay, so if you got in, you got in. I really hope you got in. I personally don't trade JPYs, but I wish I was riding into something like this. This is not really a valid higher low, but it's the last kind of sell to buy area that you can look for potential demand zone. And what can I say about this one? Well, I don't know. Wait for a clear pullback, keep following the flow, wait for a bigger pullback, and then get your like a 15-minute setup and go long. I just don't know how it's gonna go because again, as I said, on the daily time frame, it's been like pumping for every single day. So there is gonna come a time in which it's gonna retrace. Okay, it's gonna start filling all the imbalances right there. It's gonna start pulling back towards the 50%. But before you do this, wait for a 4-hourly trend change. Wait for the 4-hourly time frame to become bearish. Okay, so this is pretty much the yen pair analysis we're gonna have this week. I have nothing to say, right? I'm not gonna drop to the 50-minute and tell you to short or long because again, it's just pushing higher. We have no any confluences yet. So again, guys, I mean, give it some time and just wait for structure to form or just trade your setups. For me, what I would just wait for is for a valid higher low to be created, a higher high, and then keep following with the new ranges, or of course to give me a deeper pullback and then of course shift on the 50-minute time frame and keep longing. Of course, I would expect some shorts to come anytime soon because we're very high, but again, I'm not going to be taking any shorts unless the 4-hourly time frame becomes bearish. So that's pretty much your yen, nothing more to say. All right, next are the Aussies. So what we can see on the weekly time frame, it is actually massively pumping and also causing a weekly reversal right now because that was the weekly lower high. It came in to make a new lower low and then it pushed up. So my psychology is that we're probably respecting like this monthly push because you can see like we made this monthly push, we did below the 50%. There was that little bit of imbalance right there. And what I also see is that if you actually refine this imbalance also to the weekly time frame, it is exactly right there, and you can see we perfectly filled it. Like here we tapped in a little bit, but again then okay, so it's not actually drawn like this, it's probably like that, right? But we came in to fill exactly the last spot, right? And right now we're just massively pumping, causing a break of structure and massively impulsing for 3 consecutive weeks. Okay, daily time frame, just massive pump, right? So what can you do when the market usually pumps like this? Well, it's a bit hard to catch. You really have to be watching like the lowest time frames, like the 50-minute time frame, playing with the Asian range and managing like to get inside the trade. Right now we are just like into the highs. We broke that weekly high. I mean, if we have a look on the left, of course, that high could be a potential liquidity target. There is no imbalance, so we're probably going to be seeking that high, or we are of course going to be rejecting from the supply zone, which I don't really think so. But let's see. 4-hourly time frame. By the way, beautiful structure. I mean, I take my words back because again here 4-hourly valid range, boom, broke structure, 4-hourly valid range right there, boom, retest, right? 4-hourly valid range, boom. Here kind of came in a little bit sharply, but that is news, so you're not going to be trading the news. Another 4-hourly push, and here similar to EU, we have kind of a valid break, and then technically we have a valid 4-hourly TC down, and then technically this is a valid supply. So exactly the same analysis, by the way, guys, as with EU. If we can take a short towards like the 50% of that overall, let's just take the daily. Nah, you can't take a daily leg, it's way too big. Well, pretty much you have, yeah, I mean, I really started playing a lot with imbalances, and I actually like it because it's we don't use them. I don't use them like for entry areas, but I use them to potentially know, okay, where will the market potentially go to rebalance, right? So right now, this is the thing that could get rebalanced. So if we can get an early short, rebalance this price action, maybe come in and tap, like if I just draw a massive demand zone like this, I mean, that could be a good area for a potential entry. And yeah, then I can just take like this most recent push, right? There is a 50%. So I will be looking for the market to pull back roughly around these areas right there. And then jump on the 50-minute time frame to look for potential longs. That's it. Very, very, very simple. Can you take a short early this week? Well, just be careful. Just be careful right there. Watch the 50-minute, watch the Asian range, right? It could come in, maybe take out the high again and then reverse. So watch out, okay? But overall, I would really love, the perfect scenario will be to have a bearish start of the week, form that weekly low, and then from there we can long it all the way towards the week, of course, if the fundamentals support and if the overall bias keeps going like this. Okay, so that's the Aussie. Very simple, similar to EU, looking for a little short starting the week and then potential longs. But of course, let's see what happens on Tuesday. Aussie JPY, what can I say? Just a massive pump, right? Just a massive crazy pump, potentially going towards the weekly high. Daily time frame, nothing much here on the left as well. It's just been pumping for quite some days in a row. And again, what can you do? Well, nothing. It just keeps pushing. What you do is follow the lower time frames and of course the hourly time frame. The last kind of high low that makes a little bit sense is here. We have one right there as well, but this one kind of got retested, filled in the imbalance. Then there is one little one right there. I hope I spot them right. I'm just kind of watched a couple of videos on imbalance as well, and I'm kind of just trying to put it logically in my head, like not really study all of that stuff that is out there. But yeah, massive push up, potentially pulling back, I hope, right? Potential pullback. Again, where is it going to pull back to? We don't know. But what I will just do is just focusing on longs, right? So let's see. That's Aussie JPY. Very simple, very nice. Let's see how it works out. And pretty much all the JPYs are right now extended. So if they all start a little pullback, that will be great. But again, if they keep pushing, then just keep going with that bullish bias. But hopefully we get a little pullback, because again, we haven't really gotten a nice significant pullback. But let's just hope we get like a little one and then it continues to pump. So that's the Aussies. Let's have a look at the NZDs, which are usually pretty much the same. Well, after looking at the Aussie, you can see the NZD is not that strong. I mean, the Aussie is already making like hard highs, right? So you can see here, we're already breaking like the hard high on the weekly. But this one is just about to be kind of retesting this weekly supply, okay? But it's also coming in from a similar situation to the Aussie, which is filling in that imbalance, right? Having this range, manipulation of the range. And again, eventually, we can expect that the NZD will follow with the Aussie and continue going higher. Although it's still bearish on the weekly. And it's also still bearish on the daily, I'd say. Here, you might draw this as a break, and then this one as a trend change, then retest back and currently bullish. But it's still bearish according to me also on the on the daily. Weekly is bearish, daily is bearish, hourly is bullish, of course, right? It shifted up here. High lows, high highs, high lows, high highs, right? There is the last one right there. Market came in, respected, provided a massive long trade. Another break of structure right there. Do we have a little trend change? Nope. Okay, so currently, like the last demand zone, you can take something like that. There is your 50%, and as the market comes in, hopefully taps 50%, we can take a long. Looking at that last candle, it kind of looks like we might continue. If we continue, then just draw the new range, which is going to be this, right? And then long it again. So there is my analysis here. Looking at that one, that is probably going to be structural liquidity. So I would be looking for this one to get taken. And then after this one is taken, if you start getting like a 4-hourly TC, then maybe shorts can kick in. But looking at the overall bias of the market, I don't think NZUSD will go down. So follow with the recent 4-hourly trend. There are my two scenarios. Rather start bullish, break structure up right there. Then if that happens, you keep flowing, you draw your new range, and then you take a long. If it goes down, you again focus on longs. So that's the NZD. Plain and simple. NJ, also plain and simple. Last sell to buy, last demand, weekly massively pushing. Oh, look at the weekly. I actually came in and took out that weekly high. So that's a very big, break right there. I mean, after such a massive break, we can definitely expect some sort of a reaction. So can we have a bearish week? I don't think so. I do think look at the momentum on this thing. Right, so hopefully we get a little bit of a pullback, like the most recent imbalance is here. Like, can we come in and fill it? Hopefully, right? So let's see, that perfectly resonates with that hourly zone we have right here, but don't expect too much. But again, knowing what liquidity we have taken, I would expect like a bigger pullback, but again, don't expect too much. So let's see, the JPYs are very tricky, very massive. Hopefully you guys are into some of those JPYs going long. And yeah, let's see how next week is going to develop. Personally, I would just love to see some sort of a pullback and then go long, follow that beautiful uptrend. So here we see the reason for all the JPYs pumping, right? And although the Dixie is bearish, we see that USDN is actually bullish, which really means that the JPY has done something. What happened on Friday, by the way, guys? So if we have a JPY trader right there following the fundamentals as well, let us know in the comments what happened on Friday. Why is the market pumping like crazy? What I immediately see is a little bit of a imbalance right there that there was, and the market didn't kind of fully fill it. We can expect right now the market to potentially take out that high first of all, and then kind of push a little bit deeper towards the 50%, or maybe filling in the whole gap. So that is why we are technically bullish right now on UJ. We have a brand new weekly demand dropping onto the daily time frame. It's pretty much the same daily demand, but you can see this one, the move actually happened on Friday. But you saw all the rest of the JPY pairs, they have been moving up for quite a while. So again, the USD JPY was potentially kind of forced to go up, right? Or it was just everything was decided beforehand. So yeah, massive bullish candle on Friday, causing that bullish daily break. Strong low is down there. So again, if we have a pullback, then of course longs. But I would much prefer to trade the other JPYs rather than UJ. Because then if you drop on the hourly time frame, you can see what we had the whole week. And you can't trade this. And I told you guys on Tuesday and also on Saturday, don't trade. Wait for Friday. And there is Friday. Pushed, pulls back, higher low, higher high. So there is the most recent structure break. It's the most recent structure break, hourly breakout. And then of course you can take some sort of a demand zone, make it a bit bigger. You have a little bit of an imbalance right there. You have an imbalance right there. So yeah, simple analysis. I mean, bullish, higher high. Looking for a pullback, looking for a higher low formation, and to potentially then take a long. How is that gonna form? Well, I don't know. So let's see how it forms. Let's flow with the market, but technically bullish on USDN. USD CAD is finally coming in to take those liquidity areas low. I think last week I actually forecasted that this one is gonna get taken, and it's finally coming in, and it's tapping into that very nice weekly kind of base candle. It's very bearish as well. So again, are we gonna get any bullishness? I don't think so, because again, the dollar is very bearish, it's very weak, and we just keep going down and down and down. Like last week was very bearish. Oh, sorry, this is the daily. I mean, this is the week that actually broke. So pretty much you can see we again chopped around, then Thursday came in the news, boom, right? And then Friday continues going lower. But yeah, I mean, tapping into a massive weekly zone. We can start expecting longs as well, but that can definitely continue going lower as well. There's that brand new little imbalance formed right there. So the hourly range, however, broke down right here. So there is a hourly supply. So yeah, I guess you're gonna have two scenarios. You either short from here, or you then wait for that imbalance to get filled, wait for a hourly trend change bearish, and then of course you take a long. So that's my very simple USD CAD analysis. I cannot really forecast what is going to happen within this zone. Are we going to reverse? Are we going to not? You're only going to know if we're going to reverse from a weekly zone if the daily turns bullish. And the daily has quite some time to turn bullish, because kind of the last real lower high, I'd say it's at least this one, not this one. It's that guy. So let's see, right? Let's see, but very bearish. I would continue following that bearish flow. The only question is, are we going to reject from that area right there and go short? Or are we going to pull us back into that daily range, right? Maybe the daily 50%, something like that, and then give us a short. So let's see, but that's UCAT. Let me know what you guys think about it. Well, as with everything else, also GU is massively pumping, creating that weekly high formation. And if you just look on the left, like currently the market is filling in some imbalance. That is the next one potentially where we're going. You can see we're just tapping the open of it. And yeah, absolutely bullish, brand new weekly high. So of course we can start eventually expecting shorts to kick in order for us to start getting that pullback. The last, according to me, the last clear daily break is right here. So again, that is going to be my major daily higher low. So we can draw it like this, major daily higher low, right? Massively into the highs. There is a little bit of demand right there. It's not really a valid range. It's not a valid higher low. We have a little bit of imbalance printed. So I probably think this one is going to develop the same as all the other pairs, right? This week kind of went down a little bit on Monday, then broke up, higher low, higher high. Then this is potentially your best trades. Happen on around Wednesday to Thursday when the news came in, but it was pretty hard to get in because it was very wicky. Not a valid higher low according to me. So the last valid higher low on GU is right there, this big guy. So a lot of things could happen. This one can also be counted as a valid higher low, or at least a valid demand zone. I really don't know what to expect. That could happen, right? But we can get like a little bit of bearishness to pull us back into the daily leg and then get a long trade, okay? So usually it's a little bit hard to forecast when the market is at higher highs, because then of course you don't know what's gonna happen. It can continue pushing up. It can create a higher low, it can reverse, right? Because usually when the market is at a higher low formation, then you say, okay, I'm just looking for longs. On the market open, I'm gonna look for longs, okay? But right now it's massively in the higher high on every single time frame. You're gonna be expecting a pullback, but of course it can just continue going higher. So again, if you get like a brief pullback right now, then keep longing it until you're wrong. When are you gonna be wrong? Well, when of course we get a 4-hourly trend change. Unfortunately, to me, that is also the 4-hourly valid low. This to me is, this according to my rules, is not a valid higher low formation. We're coming into filling that imbalance, so let's see what happens when we fill it, if we're gonna be getting any kind of 4-hourly trend changes. But for now, just keep flowing with that 4-hourly flow. And again, just wait for a little pullback and continuation higher. So let's see. GJ, same story, right? It has like it doesn't really have a valid 4-hourly higher low. The last valid 4-hourly higher low is down there, which sucks because we have like, for example, this as a powerful demand. This was demand, kind of looks retest, and right now we're just pumping, just closing at this higher high right there. Weekly time frame, absolute pump. Absolute pump. Again, I'm not gonna really gonna go to 2015 and draw some zones. Like I see, there is a little bit of imbalance, but again, yeah, we're coming in very sharply. Daily is massively bullish, weekly is massively bullish, fall is massively bullish, 50-minute is massively bullish. So again, guys, we'll just wait for some sort of a pullback, right? And then of course keep longing it. So I cannot really forecast what is gonna happen on this one. So we're gonna give it some time and we gotta flow with the markets as always. So that's the GBPs. Both of them are bullish. I mean, both of them need some sort of a pullback before we go long. So of course, let's see how Monday opens and let's see how we can flow with the market. Well, gold has a strange development this week. I mean, with all the massive moves we had, gold is the only pair or instrument that didn't really move. Came in, took out the low, and came in close where it opened. Rejection candle, bullish, more bullish than bearish because we have a nice rejection from the downside. This was imbalanced, didn't really come in to fill it deeper. Confusing, right? Dropping onto the daily time frame, that was the last daily lower high. The market came in, chopped for quite some time. It came in and it took out that daily low. Is this a break? Is this a liquidity grab? It definitely looks like a liquidity grab the way we exited outside. But then of course right now we can also count it as a structure break, and then we can of course move our valid higher low to here. So that's the last lower high on the daily. So if you get a break above this one, then that could mean bullishness. We can start going higher, taking out all of these flat highs right there. So I'm a bit confused when it comes to gold. It's probably cooking for something, it's probably waiting for something, but for what, I don't know. Dropping on the 4-hourly time frame, it's like we had a lower low right there, lower high, maybe a short. Right now technically on the voyage we have a trend change, right? We have a trend change, and then is this a trend change down? Valid broke. Oh yeah, what caused the break? It's down there. So, well, guys, just looking at gold, I'm confused, and when I'm confused, I just don't look at the chart. Okay, so what I'm just gonna say is give it some time. Let's see where this thing wants to go, because daily time frame makes no sense to me. It's still chopping around, like it's not bullish or bearish. It's just chopping around. Took out the low, back into the consolidation because we have like an overall consolidation right there. 4-hourly time frame kind of ranging. Yes, you might have got on a short right there. Right now we're long, but then again we immediately make a little TC down. Could it come in like get a little short, fill in that imbalance, then go long? Well, I mean, that could be the case. because again, that looks like a daily liquidity grab that also caused like a hourly trend change. So if it's like an 8-hourly zone, but yeah, I took exactly the 8-hourly zone, that could be a potential long. Again, we have like lots of imbalance right there to fill, so we can get a little pullback and then go higher. But again, let's not try to forecast too much. Let's just see how the market opens, what it does, and then of course strike when it's clear. Don't try to force it right now. Don't try to think what's gonna happen, because you probably don't know. Let's just see what happens, and then of course we're gonna flow as it develops. Personally, I think gold should go long, because if the Dixie is just so weak and if everything else is going up, gold should also go up. But you can see, yeah, we pushed up on Thursday, but maybe the pump is incoming next week. So again, let's see, stay tuned and just follow the structure. All right, let's have a look at some indices. So starting with US 30, we just this week came on and took out that high right there. We also took out that high, right? So there are some major liquidity grabs this week, and you can see that actually as the market came in and then it actually went down a little bit, rejecting from all of that pressure that is coming in. When it comes to the weekly, again, like this one, if you just remember, this one actually caused a weekly reversal right there, and technically the market is bullish, trading within this range. It pulled back to 50% and it filled in that little imbalance gap right there that we have just below the 50%. So again, the overall expectations on this one are actually bullish, okay? But again, I think I was way too kind of looking to buy some stocks, so I was actually hoping it actually goes down. But again, we have the bullish signs. Here we chopped around for a little bit, but then of course the daily time frame aligned right here. High low, high high, little high low right there, and a high high right now. According to me, the last valid daily low is this one. Like depending on how you draw structure, it could also be that one, but that is definitely a daily demand zone. And yeah, I mean US 30. Didn't trade it this week. I started really trading SPX right now. Have a little kind of concept that I have that I'm currently testing, and it actually works pretty good. Currently, yes, we're pulling back, but if you actually look deeper into it, there is a valid structure break, and then there is a valid trend change down. So similar to EU, I mean, we can take a short, take it into the long, and then of course drop to lower time frame right there and wait for the long again. Lots of imbalance right there, a very big daily zone, right? So if you just take the daily range like this, let's just wait for 50%, fill in all of that imbalance right there. Well, not all, but at least like half of it, right? And then of course take a long. So that's my very simple analysis on US 30, looking for macro longs. But knowing what kind of liquidity we took, I would expect like probably a deeper pullback. So let's see how deep it is, and let's of course flow with the markets. Nasdaq, it just keeps going and going and going and going, right? Imbalance just got crushed, continuing to go higher. There's a weekly break. There is the next target, which, oh, that actually got taken. So we just fulfilled a massive target. So I mean, we could definitely be getting a pullback right now. That was kind of equals right there. It swept them both. And like the next one is right there. But this one is not gonna come in immediately. That one is gonna come in after we first rebalance the downside. So the most recent rebalancing I see is right there. So can we actually start getting a little bit bearish on the indices? Well, hopefully, because they're very, very, very bullish. There's a daily break. There's a daily zone, right? Nasdaq very high. It just came in and swept it on Friday, and we immediately closed bearish pretty much to form that weekly high. And the hourly time frame also broke up. Oh, come on. What am I doing? Also broke up, and then it also broke down, then technically creating a trend change down. So let's see. I mean, there is some good confluence for the US 30 and Nasdaq to go a little bit down, to fill in some empty space, to pull us back a little bit, and then of course we can eventually continue looking for the long trade. So just based on the foliage, it's actually shifting bearish, which can show us that first sign of the daily pullback initiating. The weekly time frame has an imbalance. The daily time frame has an imbalance right there as well, which could be the first one that you could be seeking to fill. Okay, so there it is. I have a little bit of a short bias because again, Nasdaq took a massive liquidity. US 30 took a massive liquidity, and also S&P. I mean, it took out that high. This week, it's coming in like towards these sort of highs right here. It hasn't taken anything major, but it's very, very, very bullish. So if I just mark it up, massively bullish on the daily time frame, we also just keep going and keep going. There is that last daily break, which I'm not sure how valid it is, but we can take a zone. The first imbalance that I see to be rebalanced on the daily is right there. If you look on the left, I mean, S&P hasn't yet taken like a major low. This is just like a full daily imbalance right there. We have that daily high maybe to potentially cause the market to stop, or it could be like the imbalance could get it to stop, but again, a high. And if the other indices start going down, like if US 30 and Nasdaq start going down, then of course SPX is gonna follow. So if you have a look on the Forex as well, we have a similar kind of development. We broke up and we broke down, creating like this little supply. So let's see, very curious to see if we're gonna get a pullback and potentially fill in some of that empty space, and then again start pushing into the highs. So let's see. That's pretty much my outlook. Took 2 trades on SPX. The first one I managed like a pussy, sorry for my language. But I'm not gonna be explaining strategies during testing mode, but we came in right there. I was long on the day and took a trade from here, but unfortunately closed it at break even just before the pump started, because again, I don't have that much confidence in it yet. So I pretty much entered right here, right? And then I was just looking at how choppy it was. I didn't get any trades right here, but then as I got the trade, then it became choppy again. I thought, yeah, it's gonna go down. So I closed it somewhere right here for 0, and then it came in and took out my target, which was a 4-hour trade, which was very painful to miss because my week would have started even better. And not to say it went quite a long time, but again, I'm not gonna be holding all the way up. No trades on this day, on Tuesday, and then I took a second trade on this one on Wednesday. That was after my win on EU, so I finished the day very strong. This one, again, after the setup that I was looking at, but the next liquidity area was pretty short. So maybe I made a mistake to be taking like such a low risk to reward trade, because again, I took the trade from there. Unexpectedly, the stop loss was a little bit big, right? So it just offered me towards that high a 1.5 risk to reward. So I took it. Right, full risk trade, I took it, it's fine. Then again, at the end of the day, it went to 3R, which is pretty much what I am looking for. But again, I wouldn't have known that it's gonna go to 3R because I didn't have anything to target on the left. So those are my 2 trades on XPS, and with the 2 trades on Euro USD, I pretty much have 4 wins. I'm not sure if I took something else, might have taken something little, but I don't really remember. But yeah, pretty much those are my S&P trades this week, and with the Euro trades, pretty good. So let's see if the indices are gonna give us a pullback this week. Crypto tapped inside my desired area, 50%, 25k. I didn't buy. Maybe I should have bought because I was really looking for this level. So let's see if it's gonna start pumping, right? And Ethereum as well. I just don't look at Ethereum, but let's see if Bitcoin is gonna pump. It also has like a daily structure break with lots of momentum. So I do think it could be a good area to buy if you are riding it from all the way down. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the analysis, trying to keep it short and simple. We have some very interesting setups going forward with the momentum introduced from last week. I do think we can have some very nice continuations this week. So again, flow with the markets, wait for a little bit of a pullback, and then of course just keep flowing with your minor structure in the 50-minute time frame or whatever time frame you trade. Good luck and stay tuned for my video on Tuesday or Wednesday. Have an incredible weekend and talk to you next week.